Oliver needs 8 for a title. Bang!
There's the emotion.
There it is.
Boom! Jordan Richard.
Champion again.
In the world of Disney, where dreams certainly come true, it's a magical place to be. And dreams certainly can come true inside of a Loma Bowl here this afternoon. It is a phenomenal situation. It's the 2024 PWBA Regional Showdown. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Emil Williams Jr. alongside the incomparable Sydney Brummett. And Sydney, it is a youthful show to say the least. 28 years of age. That's the age of the oldest player on this show. That is Carson Lukosius. By the way, she's got 3 regional titles already this season. She's looking for her 4th. But most importantly, Sid, the opportunity for someone to live out their dreams. $4,700 on the line, not just in prize money, that's $4K, but $4,700 in national tour entry fees covered in 2025. Someone's life in that aspect could change today. Our number 1 seed, Caitlin Stoll, our number 2 seed, Avery Dumigan, the number 3 seed, the 2024 PWBA Rookie of the Year, Crystal Elliott, Carson Lukosius rounds out our step ladder. When you hear those names, Sid, what comes to mind when you get this opportunity of a lifetime here for these young players?
Well, it's the future of the PWBA. There's no question about that, with Avery and Caitlin being just seniors in high school that have committed to their respective universities. And then you have Carson, who we're all wondering, when's she going to make her way out full-time on tour? You know, maybe this is the jump that she needs to be able to do so.
It very well could be, and Carson does have a full-time job. We'll talk about that in the broadcast. She is in the opening match. She will take on Crystal Elliott, again, the reigning Rookie of the Year. Real quick, Sid, from that opportunity, we take you out to the lanes momentarily. When you look at this opening match, we'll talk about it here in a minute, but first thing that stands out between Carson and Crystal in your mind?
Crystal has a lot to lose. You know, she is essentially reproving herself over and over again, where we see this freshness from Carson. She's just out here to play because she loves it. And you could see that when she bowled matches. It was so interesting how much she cheered on her opponents. And so Crystal has more experience. Crystal has the leg up in that way, no doubt about it. It's just who's going to handle the moment with more grace than the other, and that's the person who will come out on top. And
then the other question is, which 17-year-old is going to be in the title match? We already know one. That is Caitlin Stoll. Will there be 2? Avery Dumigan, the number 2 seed. The youthful movement, you're a collegiate coach. Where are we in the landscape of our youth and collegiate athletes, and why are they so good this early?
It's a crazy place to be in, let me tell you. And we're all chasing the same people to recruit to go to our schools, and they're immaculate. Their talent is a lot bigger than it used to be, I think, because of social media. The more our brains watch great athletics, the better they compete. And so they're seeing their friends win. They want to win. They practice harder. And now we have Caitlin that's able to do so, as well as Avery.
It is match time, ladies and gentlemen. Crystal Elliott will take on Carson Lukosius. That's next. It's the 2024 PWBA Regional Showdown here on Bowl TV. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are just about set and ready for action. Damon Sirocco has given the thumbs up. We are ready to go.
Fans, here we go. Our opening match, Carson versus Crystal, 2 heavyweights. Carson looking for a record-breaking 4th regional title. Crystal looking to add on the amazing year that she had. Who is going to advance into our semifinal match? Let's give these ladies a huge round of applause. Looks like Crystal's going to get us started.
The voice of Robin Graves will officially be the send-off here. Elliott will start, and a great shot right off the bat. And would you really expect anything less from Crystal Elliott at this point in time? Her story obviously just being penned, if you will, Sid. We watched a great rookie year, and now an opportunity at the regional level and a chance for, you talk about whose life could change. She's out there on a full-time basis, and so that is certainly an expense that she wouldn't have to incur in 2025 if she is to win today.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, total cash value today is $8,700. It's only $13,000 less than winning a national tour stop. As Carson gets a good light shaker there for her first shot in the stepladder. And there's no doubt about it that for any of our 4 players, today's prize is changing for their career. It gives them an opportunity they may not have had otherwise.
Carson Lukosius looking for an early double. Mentioned she is the oldest competitor on this show, just 28. I remember those days. She talked about the Ion Max. That was going to be a pretty important piece for her and has been throughout the 2 days of competition, specifically for Carson. Big ASIM, as she said. That was a big ASIM, seemed to be a popular choice. Sid, you got a chance to bowl on this. You did advance to match play. And, you know, we were rooting for you here at the Bowl TV booth.
Oh, thanks, team. Yeah, I tried the big ASIM route. It wasn't right for me because I throw it a little bit slower. But for a lot of people around me, the big ASIM was the move. I feel like every time I watched Carson, what she was doing, or Caitlin, what she was doing, they were throwing a big ASIM. But realistically, I also bowled in the same grouping as Crystal, who I feel like every time I looked over, she had 5 or 6 in a row, and she is throwing a phase 2, which is a bigger symmetrical piece. Looking for an early double. Comes in light, leaves a 2-pin. Highly common leave over the last 2 days for the ladies in match play specifically. Crystal will choose to use her strike ball to hook into the spare. Routine spare there for Crystal. She'll go to the left lane. More than likely just try to get to the ball to the right a bit sooner than she did on lane 14.
Folks know that the obviously there's no scores updated for you, so we're working on that and getting that fixed for you, but it is even through 2 frames. In fact, strike 9 spare for both. At this point, Sydney Brummett here with you. Mill Williams Jr., thanks to Damon, Robin, Curtis, Ben Glasscock, Devin, and Donovan here. Great shot there, wraps 10.
Get to bowl here a lot now. Since I moved to Florida, I live about an hour and 15 minutes south of here. And I'll tell you, wrap 10s in this building, we are known to do that.
It was very common. Very common. And I didn't anticipate that, to be completely honest with you.
It's heartbreaking.
All right, good spare. That is 39 in the second for Crystal. And we're working on the score update. But if it doesn't, we might just go old school to make sure you have a score here in a sec. Lukosius Again, 28 now. She just moved to Freehold, New Jersey, originally from Jackson. 3-time regional champion. Myrtle Beach, Eastern Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. She took down all 3 of those titles. She could make it 4 here today. Great shot. And she takes the lead.
Yeah, that one gets up the lane a bit more than what I would have expected. And it shapes the right way because she chose to use the bigger ASIM with more surface.
Why was that type of bowling ball so important on this pattern?
Well, Nick Hoagland now has access to the first smart lane machine ever produced by Kegel called the Atlas. And so you can see those fun little Tetris guys at the end of the pattern. I promise he's not just doing that for fun. And they're opposite colors. I do want to point this out to our friends at home. They're opposite colors, not to create asymmetry in the pattern, but the 2 Tetris little bumps are opposite colors because when you oil the lane, you can only go forward on one pass, obviously reverse on the other, and you can't switch it up. And so the graph shows it as the forward pass and the reverse pass. He's not really trying to do anything tricky on the left side versus the right side. But that type of bowling ball is important because you need your ball to slow down soon enough that when it sees that little Tetris bump, it's already making its shape. If you get it there too late, you're going to 210. And if you get it going up the lane inside of that bump, it's 6 to 10 down lane. If you get it inside of there, you're going to go Brooklyn. And so it's important how your ball goes around that. So you can do it one of 2 ways. You can either go extremely straight, which we'll see Caitlin do later, go extremely straight and be outside of that bump, or you can go around it, which is what Crystal does, and that's her specialty.
Thank you to Curtis Von Kruger getting us up to date. And our scores. Thank you to Lane Talk Valuable USBC Gold Partner, Elliott. Bang. It's a lot of whistles that just permeated in the audience, Theo, as if to say, wow. She has wowed a ton of people all season. Just 24 years old. She just celebrated a birthday, November 26th. So happy belated birthday to Crystal Elliott, and throwing shots that certainly are birthday worthy. No player has doubled. Elliott could be the first in this opening match. If you're just joining us, number 2 seed, 17-year-old Avery Dumigan. Top seed, 17-year-old Caitlin Stull. You did not mishear me when I said 17 for both. And still no doubles. 9-pin instead.
I watched her do that a million times, I felt like, over the last 2 days bowling next to her. Lots of 9-pins and 3/6-10s.
Talk about that carry situation. All right, good spare. Quick look at the strike throw on the right lane for Crystal. In the physical game sense, Sid, what stands out for you?
Got a laundry list of things just went through my head. But she's probably the closest we've seen to the power at release similar to Jordan Richard since Jordan came out on tour in 2018. And just where her hand is at the bottom at the point of release is insanely good.
Great shot there for Lukosius. And Carson, who does hold down a full-time job. She's a golf course manager for Monmouth County in New Jersey. Helps manage 8 golf courses and does a lot of event planning. It's one reason why when we do see her on tour, it's in limited fashion. That could change, however.
if she is to win this, simply because there might be one or two more events that she might be able to get to, simply because she knows those entry fees certainly will be paid for. Can she be the first to double? That's a negative at the moment. Talked about carry being an issue, and she left a lot of 7-10s, as did many players here this week. What did it take, Sid, you think, from your experience trying to get corners out? What was the, I won't say the best solution, but for some, including yourself, what did you have to do to try to make that happen?
I finally figured it out in like game, I think it was like 11. But we got there. We got there. It had to get to the friction soon enough. Once I saw it enough from people, whether you're going to go straight at it, going straight at it makes it easier because it's going to be in the friction longer, but you had to get your ball to the dry the right way. Once you did that, your ball would go through the pins perfectly. It was when you tried to get it up the lane a little bit too much, you were worried you were going to 210 or flat 10, get it there way too soon. You're going to 9-pin or maybe even go Brooklyn.
Right lane, a good one again for Crystal Elliott. 6 into the 10. The situation here, in opening match, 4 players advance to the stepladder finals, which is traditional for regional competition. Again, 2 17-year-olds, soon to be college freshmen in another season, or excuse me, another year. It's a few months down the road. Avery Dumigan headed to Vanderbilt. Caitlin Stull, top seed, headed to Jacksonville State. Crystal Elliott, a grad year at Jacksonville State, and helped them win a national championship in their inaugural season. Will the left lane be kind? No. Wow. Okay, Sydney Brummett. Things that make you go,
Yeah, that one was really good.
It might have been, I won't say it was better than all of them, but I don't know how that didn't strike.
Yeah, that was incredible. If you're a player at that point, that was so good. You almost just make up a reason that it was bad. What I mean by that is you're like, oh man, that was a bad rack. So that way you can go up and commit to it again. Because the likelihood of throwing it in the exact same spot, the exact same speed and all that on the next shot is not going to happen. So you just have to try again. And I know that sounds elementary, but it's true.
Well, it's, again, the Lukosius' turn. They just keep handing the baton off, if you will, to see which player is going to be the first to double. Carson in the full Dutch 200 mode. Crystal Elliott went back-to-back single pin spares in frames 2 and 3. Still a 1-pin lead momentarily for Lukosius. Griffin.
Carson's not getting it to the friction quite as early as what I would like to see. And because of that, she's going to hit our little Tetris block that's down the lane. And if her speed is just a bit too firm, it unfortunately is going to result in something that's reminiscent of a 2-8-10.
She was somewhat frustrated. Certainly was looking to get one, right? But that one was, I think, much closer than maybe we all thought. Take a look at that again. She's like, okay, I'm gonna take care of this 8-pin. That thing hooked and set up. And the sidewalls have been somewhat kind here. So you could see a situation where something like that could be made. Now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. Keep it going on a good lane. Yes. Wow, someone gets to the left lane. Lone open belongs to Carson Lukosius. Elliott double down here. That one looked left from the start.
Yeah, she knew it. Anytime it's up the lane, you're praying that there's not a circle around your number on the scoreboard. And so fortunate for Crystal here, leaves only the 3-6. Very makeable spare.
Wow. Okay. We've got ourselves a match. We already had a match, but now each with an open, and Lukosius is going to finish the match first.
On the left lane.
So she will have the ability to shut out Crystal Elliott no matter what. Winner will receive $4,000 plus up to $4,700 in national entry fees covered in 2025. Must have here. Oh, maybe this time. No. She literally almost threw the kitchen sink at it. And it still did not go.
Yeah, I'd love to see her be a bit slower. Get it to the friction sooner. 'Cause that one's further left than the one that wrapped in pretty hard.
That Messenger just nestled up. 10-pin was made. That's tough to handle right there. Balls of choice for Crystal on the show. More than likely, she said phase 2 DNA coil or attention star as 2, but it looks like the phase 2 has been the choice. She threw that for 6 games today, phase 2, 6 of the 8 games of match play, and she tossed the phase 2 for 5 games yesterday. Ninth frame Lukosius to set it up. And there's one.
Much better shot there from Carson on the right lane. Got it to the right. Allowed the ball to shape off the friction.
That was a must-have situation there as we head to the 10th frame.
I must say, I like this camera angle. It shows how festive the bowling center is.
Yeah, Aloma Bowl's been great. Thank you to Kylie, Kelsey, and everybody who has played a role in making this so wonderful. They've got a big party after we get done. A lot of toys for tots here. Lukosius, all 10 down. And Sydney Brummett, you talking about in a must-strike scenario in a match that was going back and forth, one where you get an opportunity. No one had doubled until the 8th and the 9th, of course, for Lukosius and Carson. Drops the hammer down. He's just keeping on the lane. She does. And Carson Lukosius is going to advance. She will face number 2 seed Avery Dumigan.
Carson going to get a look here at a different piece. Something a bit quicker than the Ion Max. Symmetric ball, phase AI.
That is one that she has used often as well. Ion Max, Vibo, or Phase AI. Boy, that one looked pretty. She throws the back 5 to get to 217, and that's a victory. Showing a lot of patience despite the adversity that was shown in frame number 7.
Yeah, it felt like I've never bowled with Carson, really. I think we've always been on different squads at events that we have bowled. I didn't get to bowl any of the regionals that she won. And this was my first time getting to watch her. And she seemed patient the whole time. There was no panic. Even when I looked up and I saw a score from her that I wasn't expecting. You know, she always looked calm. Like, just so what next match? So what next shot? It was really cool to watch and see.
We will have 2 bowling ball giveaways, folks, courtesy of Storm and Brunswick, proud gold partners of the PWBA and the USBC. Crystal Elliott will finish 4th. She bowled really well throughout. She had a little bit of adversity earlier today, but you know, things started to come to her just like they did yesterday. She was very patient also. And for her efforts, she is going to take home $1,750. It'll be $2,250 to the 3rd place individual. The runner-up will receive $3,000. 196 for Crystal Elliott.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a huge round of applause to our 4th place finisher, Miss Crystal Elliott. What a year she's had. Carson Lukosius advances to face our number 2 seed, Miss Avery Dilligan. It's gonna be good. And as these ladies get ready to get some warm-up on our championship pair, just a reminder to please everyone silence your cell phones to prevent distractions to our competitors. We also have our PWBA merchandise is on sale. Final call for it because the 2025 season is going to be good. It's our 10-year anniversary here for the PWBA Tour.
All right. Curtis Von Kruger standing by with Crystal Elliott. Curtis?
Hey, thanks, Emil. I'm here with Crystal Elliott, obviously a 4th place finish. Not how you drew it up, but tell me a little bit about your experience this week.
I mean, it was just incredible being with new people and seeing old faces that I see out on tour. It was just so much fun, especially being in my backyard. It just made it a little bit special.
Thanks so much.
All right, Curtis. Well, we heard a little bit of that. I appreciate that. We'll try to do that one more time and again. But right now, we'll hear a quick word from Lane Talk, and then we'll get into our first bowling ball giveaway of the day. Storm or Brunswick, that is coming up next. First, a word from Lane Talk. You're watching the PWBA Regional Showdown right here on Bowl TV.
Got some exciting news.
We now have a pro subscription
for bowlers who really want to take their game to the next level.
The biggest thing, you can tag and label each game.
Whenever you use a ball, whatever oil pattern that you're on,
You can now track the ball's performance and compare balls side by side.
it is incredibly powerful and it is going to help you analyze your game.
Try Lane Talk Pro free for 1 month. Upgrading the app, and we'll see you on Lane Talk. Got some exciting news.
We now
All right, thank you to Lane Talk. And now, first bowling ball giveaway of the day. It is courtesy of Storm. So, folks, if you are watching in full screen mode, please get out of full screen mode so you can see the lower third prompts. Again, a Storm bowling ball of choice coming your way. Again, Storm bowling ball coming your way. If you are in full screen mode, please get out of full screen mode so you can see the lower third prompts. Bowling ball giveaway time. Welcome back in, Sydney Brummett, to the booth. We appreciate Curtis. We had a good idea one that worked with, you know how it goes. It worked perfectly doing pregame warm-ups. We tested it. And then, of course, it did not work. All right, who's ready? It's on your screen. A giveaway will be yours potentially if the price is indeed right. You're seeing Avery Dumigan and Caitlin Stoll getting their warm-up shot. Stoll, again, is the #1 seed. She won the Mooresville Regional earlier in the year. Avery bowled several regionals, did not come away with a win, but it didn't stop her from participating in the regional showdown. She had the lead heading into the position round. She only had the lead for one game. She took the lead in game what was ultimately 15. We bowled 16 games of match play, and then those two bowled, and the winner was going to be the #1 seed. The deficit was 29 pins, and it was Caitlin Stoll who shot 240 in position round to claim the top spot. All right, make sure you are paying attention lower third. Submit your entry. You got 40 seconds to do that. Storm bowling ball on the line. All right, Sid. Avery Dumigan, 17 years old. Just signed to Vanderbilt. But Junior Team USA member, obviously the resume so good, so early for you when you watch these shots. And based on the match and how things tended to play out, lane play-wise, what might we anticipate at this point?
Avery was a bit further left than quite a few people, and she would throw a bigger asymmetric bowling ball, drilled quite strong. And so I could see Avery having the advantage there from a transition standpoint. We're going to see a lot of games on one pair very quickly with all of the practice and shots going down the lane. She did that you just saw right there a lot. The light shakers carried for her. And she threw this pure envy most of the time. I'm watching her throw a different bowling ball and mesmerize for the first time since bowling with her for the last 2 days. But it doesn't look like that's what she's going to throw. It looks like she's going to throw the pure envy once again.
And for Avery, yes, Hammer Pure Envy was in her bag. The Brunswick Mesmerize in the bag. Track Stealth Hybrid. And, of course, her spare ball would certainly get a look. Damon Sirocco getting the final go-ahead from Avery on who wants to start the match. I saw Avery kind of point to herself, but we'll wait for the official tally and official word. Congratulations, Chris, by the way. Be sure to be on the lookout for an email from the Bold TV marketing squad. They should get to you within a 7-day period, but just I would say be patient if you don't hear from them. They will certainly reach out, and then if a week does happen to go by, feel free to reach out at marketing@bowl.com. We will have one more bowling ball choice to be courtesy of Brunswick again. Wonderful gold partners including Storm, Lane Talk, Kegel, GoBowling.com, and Brunswick. Lanes to be reset. We'll have to do the same from our Lane Talk perspective as well. New names being entered. Dumigan, Lukosius, and Avery will begin.
Here we go, our semi-final match. Avery versus Carson. Who advances to face Caitlin Stoll and take home the title here for the 2024 PWBA Regional Showdown? Let's give these ladies a huge round of applause. Looks like Avery's going to get us started.
There's a good look at the equipment on the ball return. Dumigan, Dad David here. I know Mom Dawn is watching as well. Oh, what a way to open up. First step ladder finals appearance here at the regional showdown specifically. Great shot.
That shot there is what made her have an opportunity to lead this tournament. When most people got it up the lane like that, if they were throwing a ball that was too clean, they'd 210. And some people even went Brooklyn. But Avery's ball roll combined with her choice of bowling ball allows it to push, hold the pocket, and strike most of the time.
All right, Carson Lukosius opened up with the victory over number 3 seed Crystal Elliott. Carson trying to run the ladder. That one is inside of target, and she leaves a 3-6-10 here in frame 1.
She's choosing to start with the phase AI, which we saw her use in the fill. It's not the choice I would have made after she made a move at the end of the game, obviously, to have the back, I believe, 5. Is that true? 5 strikes to win the match. And she did so with authority. It wasn't as if they were like crumblers or the ball was high and she was tripping 9 pins every time. It was incredible shots with great ball motion. So it is a risk that she's taking. Interesting to see if she stays with it.
We will have scores for you in just a minute. Frame 2. There it is. Nice high flush shot there. For Carson, and the high flush hit looks like it's been one that has been favorable throughout the weekend. This tournament started with a 10-game qualifying block. Players like Avery and Sydney Brummett participated in. That is how they advanced and got a spot into match play. There were 6 regional champions who were automatically into match play as long as they accept, of course, the invitation. Carson Lukosius was one of those players where she earned and won 3 titles, 3 regional titles in the regular season. Dumigan. Man wrapped in. Mentioned Vanderbilt for Avery. Not a bad choice. Coach Williams and Coach Barnes ready to certainly accept Avery into that program. There's a look at that replay.
They're creating quite the team there at Vanderbilt, that's for sure.
Certainly a who's who of oftentimes some junior Team USA athletes.
And I believe the NTCA poll just came out and they were ranked #1 in the country.
Yes, they were. Jacksonville State was 2nd. And Jacksonville State will be represented on this show. As we mentioned, Caitlin Stoll, the #1 seed, 17 years old from North Carolina. Very intentful audience here. And several watching on their way home as well. Many athletes who said they would be tuned in if they could not be here in person. Struck in the first lane, or first frame on this lane, and there it is again. Beautiful shot there from Dumigan.
Yeah, that shape there is ideal. Once I saw the picture clearly, it was obvious. You know, it always feels obvious after you see it clearly, but you have to go around that rangefinder that we have here that's at the 10 board. And if your ball goes around it, meaning it gets to the right of it, in front of it, and then it changes its direction, it almost is like it's making a C around that rangefinder, probably going to strike.
Now on to Lukosius. Looks pretty good. High flush again. For you, Sid, when you look at Carson's game, and it's no coincidence that when she does bowl on tour, and the handful of events that she does, I liken her to someone like a Shannon Sellens. When you know, even though they don't bowl full time, but when they do compete, they compete with purpose and intent, and more than likely, at the minimum, will take home a check. Why is that?
Well, one part of it is they're always fresh when they come out. You know, there's something to that. And so their minds are not boggled down with, man, the last 2 weeks haven't been great. What do I need to do different? They get to come out and just play. And that's an advantage for sure. But also, she almost gets the kick on the 9 there. But also, they have such a positive mindset around their experience. And I think there's something to be said about that. Every time I get to compete alongside Shannon, don't get to compete alongside Carson a lot, but Shannon in particular, she's just ready to be out there, and she's so excited, and it's refreshing to be around. And my experience with Carson the last 2 days is exactly the same.
Whoa, unforced error there for Lukosius. And now across the 2 matches, or the 1.5 to this point, the first single pin miss of any kind. So the Lukosius-Elliott match, and certainly now the Dumoulin-Lukosius match here. A good look at that pre-shot routine. We'll look at that again here when she makes the turn. But a couple of kind of practice warm-up, getting that arm swing loose and getting into the right mindset mentally. But here's a good opportunity. The misses that have been in, they do seem to all kind of happen on the right lane.
Yeah, what was interesting about the right lanes in the building were they were tighter through the middle part of the lane, and so you felt like you had to be further right. But then when you were further right, you had less hold because most of us were creating hold through angle. When I was talking to Hoagland earlier about the pattern, I walked up to him, hands on hips, like, you got to talk to me about this because obviously it's like, you're doing something new. What are we doing here? And he said essentially it's in his words, a hooky gutter pattern with the little Tetris blocks down the lane that are going to force you to either go around it or be straighter. And so when you're in that in-between, that you're not super straight and you're also not creating angle, it becomes a lot harder. And the right lane makes you feel like you have to do that. The left lane is kind of fun because they hook more. So you feel like you can throw it at it and it'll hook back. Not so much on these right lanes. Which for me, what's interesting about that too, is most of the time when I bowl here, I was looking through my journal after practice session, and most of the time I have the left lanes tighter. And so for whatever reason, whether we're playing closer to the gutter, because most of the time I bowl here with guys and we're further left, no matter what reason that is, it does feel the opposite.
Fifth frame, Doom again. They've open them up. And Avery with the lead. And a Carson. Simply got to just remove that from the mental space. Can look at the equipment choice. Lukosius, 28 years old. Talked about patience, belief, and filling frames to be able to get the job done. She mentioned the carry and sometimes lack thereof, which made you be patient here this weekend. Bang, nothing patient about that. Give me all of that, Doc. All 10 down.
It's about as good as it can get. It's one of those ones as a player, you're like, can I just hit the repeat button over and over, please? I want to throw it like that.
And certainly good calls for it as well. Let's get a quick look. Not quite basketball, but that is nothing but net. It's a big shot there. Keeps that lead or her deficit to 3, an even better double. You see the fist pump. Got a bit of that that real kind of stoic look. She is intense, and that's what it should be at this level, athlete competition. We live in a bowling world, folks. As I mentioned, if you're joining us for the first time, yeah, I talked about this weekend. There were so many varying levels of experience at this showdown, from those like a Sydney Brummett, a Crystal Elliott, who bowl full-time on the national tour, to those who have bowled a handful of regionals, to those who star at the collegiate or youth level. Maybe, no. And then those who really said, hey, there's a regional in my area. I'm thinking about giving it a try to really kind of test where I am, see what my confidence level really is like. All of that came into play. And, of course, you know, those who knocked down the most pins are here with us in the stepladder final. But I think just in the grand scheme of what this weekend really told, it was a story about where women's bowling, I think, is headed, which is certainly the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, we're 24 days away from the 10-year anniversary of the relaunch of the tour. You know, it came back in 2015, and since then, you know, the women's scene in competitive bowling has grown. When I was growing up in Northeast Indiana, there were 2 other high-level female competitive bowlers, and now I get to go home and I'll bowl sweepers, I'll bowl some local tournaments when I'm at home visiting, and there are so many more, and it's beautiful to see and watch, and they're going out and they're bowling PWBA regionals, and so I think that speaks on just how much hope there is for the future for the young girls looking up to even people like Avery. And I had an opportunity to actually chat with Katie Thornton last week or the week before, and we were talking about, you know, what's making people want to go to SCAD, and that was the conversation. And she was saying she's got these athletes who are incredible bowlers, but even more incredible people, and that's who the recruits want to be like. And same, I bet there's some young girl sitting at home right now watching Avery and Caitlin being like, I want to do that.
I know it's possible because even at a much younger age, they are already showing and really proving that they belong on this type of stage. Good spare there by Dumigan, clean through 7. But Lukosius with a little bit of momentum. And an opportunity to reclaim the lead here as we get into the back half of match number 2. Championship match will be next for advance to the stepladder final. 16 games of match play. We had an 8-game qualifying block for those who did not earn regional titles in the season. 10 advanced from 54, and from 4 or for 16 total, 4 advanced to the finals. Lukosius, high flush again. Sid Carson not messing around. I think she wants to go ahead and just seize the opportunity right now, and don't leave it to chance, if you will. Even though that back 5 was phenomenal to help defeat Crystal Elliott, but I think overcoming the mental miscue and missing the single pin, it's been nothing but pureness off the hand of Carson since then.
Yeah, no doubt. And after she missed the 9 pin, I was just watching her physiology to see, okay, what direction are we heading in? And I just watched her take her glasses off and clean them and put them back on. Almost as if, oh, well, I couldn't see, so that's why I missed it. Of course, there could be no other reason.
Well, she got the cloth out, and there's not a speck then on those glasses right now. That was flat out pure from Lukosius. There are national touring players, and most people know. They know about Carson. You know, she's had success everywhere at the USBC Women's Championships as well, for example. They know that if she were to come out on tour, that's a check every week that somebody's not getting. And that's just the truth.
No doubt about that.
But she is very happy with what she does. Handling golf courses and event planning again in Monmouth County. Not a Dumigan. Trying to keep pace if she can. That's a good shot. Max score 229. The difference here, though, is Lukosius has found ways to string strikes. And Avery has thrown, I think, good shots almost each and every frame, just hasn't been able to put the strings together.
Yeah, Carson's proving that it's time to go to a quicker bowling ball. Avery's still sticking with a slower asymmetric piece, struggling with the carry because of that. But also what Carson's doing, we wouldn't have really seen until about game 6 or 7 of our match play rounds.
Is that part certainly of the breaking down of the pair itself to help speed up that process, one might think, or just an aggressive choice in regards to how she wanted to attack the lanes?
Well, I think there's a couple key reasons. Number one is a quick re-oil. Afterwards, lanes didn't sit for forever. The required amount of time, of course, but not a super long time. Pattern is becoming more ingrained in the brush, so it's going to be even more true than what it was previously. Another reason would be how much practice has been allotted on the pair. And the third would be, yes, Carson made an extremely bold choice. You know, she went, there's a lot of people who would sit here and say ball's too quick after frame 4, because she went high, she 3-6-10, I believe, and then late fall of the 9-pin, late fall of the 9-pin, 9-pin. Obvious to me, she made a move after that, and it's allowed her to have more miss room up the lane, which I can appreciate. But it was an aggressive choice on her part. Smart, though, knowing how much bowling has happened on this pair of lanes already.
Max score 257. Look at that view. Oh, mercy. Well, you just can't do much better than that right there. Unbelievable stuff from Carson Lukosius, who was one of the favorites entering this tournament based on her performance this season. I think a couple of seconds, at least one, that took place in the last one in Rochester. Or Miss Grazer got her title and advanced to the Showdown. He's had to keep it on the lane. Lukosius. It's okay. There's always better times for certain things like that, and that's where you would put that and mark that in the category. But she is going to be on to the title match. She will face another 17-year-old in Caitlin Stoll from Raleigh, North Carolina. Might as well make it for good measure. She actually made the three 4-7-10 earlier today, ironically enough. This will be another victory. She's gone 217 and now 218 to defeat Avery Dumigan from San Diego, California. Avery's got 3 SYC titles. Won the U15 Girls Division Junior Gold a couple years ago. Junior Team USA, of course, for 2024. Won a couple of women's regionals that were ran by the PBA as well. The brightest of futures, certainly, for Avery, and we're just not afraid, just like Caitlin Stoll, not afraid to just kind of come out here. We've seen other players of that caliber, of the same class, actually. Gianna Brandolino bowled the Rockford Regional last year and finished second.
This class of young women is so good. I can't make a different description for them. Like, they're going to be one that is when we're talking about the PWBA in 10 more years. Like, oh, do you guys remember the class of, what would this be, 2025?
Yes.
Do you guys remember that?
I'm on record as saying I don't know how many or which halls of fame, but I think at least 2 of the players that we've been referring to will end up someday in the Hall of Fame.
No doubt in my head.
That's how good they are. We will see one more of those players coming up next. The #1 seed, Caitlin Stoll. She's got a family of collegiate bowling excellence. We'll talk about that in just a little bit.
Third place finisher, Miss Avery Dugan. Carson Lukosius continues to climb the ladder. Our championship match is here. Caitlin Stoll, Carson Lukosius. Who is going to win the title here at the 2024 PWBA Regional Showdown?
See Caitlin Stoll, bit of first piece of equipment on the rack. And folks, we've got one more bowling ball giveaway. It will be courtesy of Brunswick. We will talk about that and get you a bowling ball on the other side of a word from Kegel. Again, another valuable gold partner here on the PWBA Tour. They are the official lane maintenance provider of the USBC and the PWBA. Again, that is Kegel. When we return, a Brunswick bowling ball giveaway and a title match. You're watching the 2024 Regional Showdown. You're watching it live right here on Bowl TV. Welcome back to Aloma Bowl live in Winter Park, Florida. Emil Williams Jr. with Sidney Brummett. The PWBA Regional Showdown. It's the 3rd Regional Showdown overall. It is the 2nd in this format. There was one different wrinkle this year. 2 different patterns, one for qualifying and one for match play. Sydney, as we get the bowling ball giveaway underway. By the way, folks, if you're in the chat, if you're ready for a Brunswick bowling ball giveaway, please let me know so we can get that going for you. Did that present some additional challenges from that regard? And it was a quick turnaround, especially for those who bowled qualifying like yourself, to immediately eliminate what you just talked about or what you just referenced, what you just spent 8 games grinding over and figuring out how to strike and then get to a new challenge. What was that difference like for you this week?
Yeah, I actually think it was incredibly fair. And the reason why I say that is because in previous season, the people who had to bowl the 8 games of qualifying almost got to bowl the 8 games of qualifying. It could have been seen as an advantage. And so, because they saw 8 more games on the pattern. So to have 2 different patterns allowed the playing field to be more even, considering that we have some champions that get seeded automatically into the 16 games. But it was difficult to say, okay, these were the bowling balls I threw and the surfaces I needed, and now all of that does not matter, and I have to start over. Luckily, there was a good amount of time in between when we got done with those 8 games until practice to celebrate, be happy about how things went, and then feel like a brand new tournament had started.
If you are watching in full screen mode, folks, please get out of full screen mode so you can see the lower third prompts. Few seconds will remove themselves here in a sec, and then you will be asked simply to click submit entry. Simply to click submit entry. Someone says, wait, they're not ready. Well, Ricardo, you still got a chance. Click submit entry. All right, Sid, lane play. All day long, I feel that Caitlin has been closer to what has been described again from Nick as the strips area on the lane. And we'll throw the pattern here back on the screen right now to the right. And she's been there, but I feel like she's utilized some of that friction out there. And I'm wondering, there's been a lot of Ion Max for her. There's been some Ion Pro, I believe. Congrats to Diane Jones, by the way. She also said she could use the Attention Star S2 possibly. From that vantage point, what might be the best case scenario? I mean, everything's pretty much worked for her throughout the weekend.
Yeah, she's got to have eyes a bit on what Carson's doing, being in a quicker bowling ball. She's been with the Ion on the fresh and then went to this S2. So I would encourage her to start with that, more than likely just using Carson's information. But Caitlin's done a better job. If you look at the forward loads data on this pattern, and the second line down is what's obvious for when we watch Caitlin play. It says the 6-to-6 loads, there are 6 of them. That's a ton in comparison to every other load structure he has on there. I think it's 2 loads on every other kind of inward strip, as he calls it. There's only 2 loads. 6-to-6 has 6. So if you can find a way to use it as hold, then you can have a better time going straight, and that's what Caitlin has done better than anybody else. The rest of us mere mortals had to move to the left and shape it around our Tetris block. Gonna take a moment here to get our names input.
All right, Alumbo, here we go. It's our championship match. A lot on the line. The freeness of having all of your entries paid for the 2025 national season. $4 grand and another regional title to their name. Carson winning 3 already. Caitlin having 1 to hers. Who is going to add to their young resumes here at the 2024 PWBA regional?
Carson is going to go ahead and get us started on the left lane. Caitlin did have choice. Sticking with the phase AI. Looks like a move to the left. Excellent ball reaction.
Excellent ball reaction indeed. Carson Lukosius, Caitlin Stahl. Championship match officially underway, and picking up right essentially where she left off, minus the 10th frame shot. I tell you though, as a player, Sid, I'm wondering, do you just kind of keep that in the back of your mind, knowing that that could happen there? Speaking from the split perspective, as we watch Caitlin Stahl for the first time, she just chops the 7 and the 10 out. And if you've never seen Caitlin Stahl bowl before, folks, it is going to be business as usual. Each and every frame. It's going to be get up, throw my shot, probably strike, go sit down, rinse and repeat.
Yeah, I was talking with her today, and she goes, the other people bowled slow. And I'm like, no, Caitlin, you're really fast, and, you're striking a lot. We're not slow.
Frame 2. Bang. Simply put. This is, folks, a generational talent, in my opinion. It is every superlative you'd like to add. That's what you look at when you watch Caitlin Stahl bowl from won the Mooresville Regional from Raleigh, North Carolina. The youngest of 3 sisters who now all will bowl collegiately, of course, including Caitlin. His sister Emma is now an assistant coach at Arkansas State, which is her alma mater. She's the oldest. Grace is a senior now at North Carolina A&T. And Caitlin headed to Jacksonville State. Lukosius. Maybe. This time it connects.
Women throwing messengers too. We love this.
Well, we haven't seen a ton. We did if you go back to the opening match between Lukosius and Elliott, but no messenger connected. And but it's only fitting now that the messengers start to connect and do what they should do in a championship setting.
Yeah, they were just warming up. Now they're ready.
Gotta warm up that voice. Head pin, side wall, connect, and back to action. For 3 in a row early. And that miss looks similar actually to the one in the 10th frame. Of course, that time it did not matter. This time, certainly, it does. The winner will receive $4 grand, $4,000 to the winner, $3,000 to the runner-up. But again, the winner between Stahl and Lukosius will receive up to $4,700 in national touring entry fees paid for in 2025. Good spare. Now for each player, right, these two players, it's a much different scenario. They are in completely different places in their lives. Obviously, Stahl preparing, well, first has to finish her senior year of high school and then on to college. How she may elect to utilize those funds. Certainly she'll try, as she mentioned, to figure out the schedule, what she's got to do, high school, prepare for college, et cetera, and so forth. And figure out a way to bowl a few more if she can. And a 10 pin.
Yeah, it was definitely a question that a lot of us had. Like, okay, what happens if Avery or Caitlin win? And the answer was the same. They get to use the funds. There was a rule in our PWBA rulebook, of course, that once you cash twice as a non-member, excluding the Queens and the U.S. Open, because they are USBC events, then you have to become a member. So for Caitlin, she would be able to use those funds at our regular events up until she cashes twice. But she could use them for as much as she wanted outside of that, for sure.
Ten-pin connect for Caitlin Stahl, Junior Team USA member. She's also the PBA Junior National Champion in 2023. She's got 5 Storm Youth Championship crowns as well, and she only bowled 1 regional. Well, that was the Mooresville one. Of course, she won it, which earned her spot into match play here. The big 1082 heard around the world. 1082 for 4 games, day 2 of Junior Gold here in 2024. Just absolutely lit him up. I saw it with my own eyes.
Yeah, I'll never forget it. I was sitting at one of the guys' centers, sitting at Thunderbolt. Good shot there, leaves a 4-pin. And I was sitting at Thunderbolt, and I'm just minding my business, looking for guys to recruit to go to our school. And all of a sudden, I started hearing whispers. Did you hear what Caitlin Stoll did? Did you hear what Caitlin Stoll did? No. Tell me. She's 1082. All right, everybody.
It was even wilder in real time.
I can't imagine. Usually the guys' centers don't ruffle at a whole bunch. Like, they just don't. Like, they're all trying to figure out why that 10-pin stood in the 3rd frame of game 2. Like, that's usually what's going on in the guys' centers. But to hear them talking about women's bowling was pretty cool. It was different. It was a different feeling. It's been, in sports in general, it's been cool to watch women's sports recently. And I hope that continues, and players like Caitlin make it easy for the younger generation of players to want to watch women's bowling.
But Carson Lukosius in that same category. Who wouldn't want to watch Carson, in some cases, strike at will? Just like that. This one's got the feel of a 10th frame showdown. Certainly to double up on the name. But it has that feel. This one's going to come down to the 10th frame as it should for a title. Good look at Carson from the right lane. Trailing by a pin momentarily. She strikes. We've got a lead change. Bang.
That shot was much more online than the one in the third frame for Carson that left the 3-6-10. Gets around the tracer. Throwing the quicker bowling ball, throwing the phase AI is going to be more of a risk-reward situation for her. So when she does miss left, it is going to be a more difficult spare, potentially a split. But when she aces it, it will strike most of the time.
Back to Stoll. Not wasting any time. Oh, my. The messenger that was coming from the left wasn't even the one that connected. I believe it was the 6-pin.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I don't even need it, guys. It's fine.
Just power. For the young 17-year-old. She was older than Avery by 1 month. So Avery was the youngest participant. Stoll, the second youngest. Watch that 6-pin just whoop. Eight-pin thought about it for a moment. She's thrown at Ion Max a ton today, but she is not throwing that right now. It's the, I believe it's the S2. Intention Star S2.
I just saw her smile for the first time. Did you see that?
Yes, I did actually.
I think it's because she missed by a lot and her ball did the right thing. And as a player, that is the best feeling in the world, especially when you're bowling for a title. You're like, oh, wait, I don't have to be perfect. This is beautiful. Let's keep bowling.
Quick look at that. There's a little bit of a smile. Back to Lukosius. Oh, wow. And it just felt like one you got to have there against Stoll, the way she has come out. And I don't have the stats, but it felt like Caitlin and almost every match, it seemed like she was at least getting out the gates with the front three. Almost every single time. In fact, yesterday, game 1 of match play, she started with the front 9.
Super casual. Her game just inherently fits this pattern really well. Like, she's going to use the friction more to her advantage than other people are. A lot of the field this weekend in general didn't have higher ball speed and a very forward ball roll. Most of us fall in those middle categories. If you take rev rate out of play from a rotation and a speed standpoint, most of us fall in the middle. And so we were forced further to the left than Caitlin was, and she was able to take advantage of that. A lot of the pairs were similar to the one she had just come from because people weren't playing where she was.
7th frame, Lukosius. Get out of there, 10. Max score right now for Carson, 256. Still 268 on the board. And available for Caitlin Stoll. The wiggle and the 10. This pace, to some degree, right, and every bowler is different. But the joke was earlier, we were just talking, you look up, it's so fast, she strikes so much. You look up, and just like that, it's frame 7 already, not really frame 8. Unbelievable. Looking for more. Yes, indeed. Remember where you were, folks, when you watched certain players across certain sports. And you'll say, boy, I remember when I first saw Caitlin Stoll compete. Can she take down Carson Lukosius here? The 2024 PWBA Regional Showdown. Can Carson win her 4th regional title of the year? Eighth frame. High flush.
The look on her face was the same as mine in the booth. Just kind of shaking my head, like, how did that hold? That's one of those misses as a player. You're like, oh, I'm so grateful.
Her parents are here. Her sister is here. Speaking of Carson. Big shot. Gotta have it. To give herself a chance, certainly. She's done that, but she does not control her own destiny.
Yeah, and what's crazy, I mean this with all due respect to Carson, what's crazy is it feels like Caitlin is running away with this match, but that's so untrue. It's a 12-pin difference, essentially.
Big 9th frame situation here. Stahl, of course, going to waste no time. Into the motion, on the lane. Bang again. Stoic is Caitlin Stahl.
And I want our friends at home to know, like, what's happening right now is incredibly impressive. We have 2 players using the 2 strategies that are available on this pattern. These are the only 2 options, and they're both doing it at the highest level.
He's the first. Oh, that is incredibly blessed right there. She was looking at strike 9 spare. Possible win. Now we've got Deadwood on the lane. It will have to be removed from the back. In that situation, you know, Sid, was that just one of those just in the moment?
Yeah, I think that was one of those, hi guys, I'm still 17. Still don't have a ton of experience shots. And that shot right there is what's going to make her a Hall of Famer, like you were talking about earlier, because she's going to learn from this moment.
Strike 9 spare would have done it.
Most people have that moment at 28. You know, most people.
Or older.
Or older, 100%, right? I think we're finding that the women's tour, we start to be really successful around our lower 30s is when it gets real. And we have enough experience to really play at a high level for extended periods of time. And the fact that she gets to do that at 17, game-changing for her.
From the 17-year-old momentarily to the 28-year-old, Carson Lukosius will now have a moment. All right, Sid, take me through a situation here. Put yourself in Carson's shoes. What do you got to do?
Throw my shot. I just have to get it close. You know, that's what she's learned over the last few frames, is the last time she threw a shot on 14, it wasn't perfect and it still struck. So right now, I just have to be Carson. I have to get it close to my target, post my shot, give myself an opportunity to strike here.
Needs 2. Living, breathing for the moment. Oh, my goodness. Mercy. Brutal 9-pin. And Caitlin Stoll, the 17-year-old, has won the 2024 PWBA Regional Showdown. My goodness gracious. Wow. That is sickening, to be perfectly honest. What a match. Wow. Quick replay there. It didn't do it justice. That does not damper, certainly, the performance for Carson. 247 to 232. 9-pin certainly heard around the world. Caitlin Stoll, I'm sure she probably doesn't even believe it right now at this moment.
Yeah, she was telling me earlier she had homework to go do. So she's going to be super excited and then get to do some homework.
Wow. That, oof. Congratulations to Caitlin Stoll. Congrats to Carson Lukosius. The $4,000 belongs to Stoll. Lukosius will take home $3,000 for her efforts. And, of course, up to $4,700 in national entry fees covered belong to Caitlin Stoll in some capacity and how she elects to choose it. Generational talent. Quick trophy presentation. We will talk with Caitlin Stoll. We'll try to get her on camera as well. There's some photos to be taken as well.
It was a privilege to watch you on the lanes, and I am honored on behalf of Loma Bowl to present you with the 2024 Regional Showdown Championship Trophy. Congratulations.
Caitlin, you have had a heck of a year. You won our Mooresville Regional. You get named to Junior Team USA. You break records at Junior Gold, and now you are the 2024 PWBA Regional Showdown Champion. How does it feel?
I guess it feels good.
All right, well, I know you're a senior. You're getting ready to take the next step in your bowling career. How do these experiences help you grow at such a young age?
It just gives me a lot of experience, and this weekend especially I learned to trust myself, which is a really big part of bowling, so I think it'll just help me thrive next year.
Is there anybody that you like to thank?
My mother that brought me here, and I guess my coach, Melissa McDaniel, that came with us, and my sisters that are at home.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2024 PWBA Regional Showdown Champion, Ms. Caitlin Stoll.
All right, so there's going to be some photos, of course, to take. But real quick, Sydney, we're going to try to get Carson to the booth. We don't have our normal mixer, so we can't have our normal three-person interview. So we will have to trade places in that regard. But just your thoughts on the stepladder, and then specifically, it was such again a moment in the spotlight for the youth of our sports. When Caitlin Stoll wins the regional showdown at 17 years old, Avery Dumigan was the #2 seed. It's Stoll who wins it on a brutal 9-pin left by Carson Lukosius. Just describe how you feel about where we are with our youth, collegiate, and certainly women's bowling moving forward into 2025.
I think women's bowling is at its best that it's been. Now, granted, I must say, I was not around during the first tour when it ceased in 2003, but I've been here since the relaunch. And I'm so grateful to now hear those collegiate players. The collegiate players now have zero hesitation when I say, hey, are you thinking about going out on tour? And they say, yes, absolutely. and to be at junior gold and see how many young female athletes are excited about bowling and excited to get better at bowling and play it at a high level and take themselves seriously, want to go to college, and then, of course, be like their peers and say, yeah, I want to go out on tour. Women's bowling is in a good spot. I think more importantly, women's sports is in a good spot.
What a moment for Caitlin Stoll, a moment for again, the PWBA. We will trade places. So, Sydney Brummett, congrats on a very good weekend. Thank you so much, as usual, for joining us, and we'll see you in 2025.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That is Sydney Brummett. We will trade, and she will hand off her headset to Caitlin Stoll. We'll get Caitlin framed up here. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Just incredible, incredible stuff. All right, folks, we welcome in the 2024 PWBA Regional Showdown champion, Caitlin Stoll, joining us. First of all, congratulations, Caitlin.
Thank you.
You just talked about it with Robin, and we talked about it beforehand, that moment of this experience and the opportunity to trust yourself. How were you able to do that in a championship match setting, and you performed so admirably against Carson Lukosius?
Just seeing the transition on the lanes and trusting what moves to make. That's about all.
I know. We've talked about this. I know you and you know me. All right. But in a moment like this, you've been in plenty of title matches. This I know, and certainly with stakes. This one was about as good as you can get. Were you even surprised that as you looked up and heard the sound and saw the 9-pin standing, how surprised were you that you were then crowned the champion watching what just took place?
I was very shocked. Coming into this weekend, I didn't see myself in this position. So it was very unreal.
Now that you are in this position, and before pre-match we talked about what might you do and how would you utilize the available entry fee funds, right? There's a lot to – first you got to graduate high school. Then you're still preparing to go to college. Will there be an opportunity to sprinkle one or two more stops now, especially since you know that those will be covered in regards to your entry fees?
I think so. We're just going to sit down, look at my schedule, and see what we can fit in, but I'm hoping that we can get to at least one or two.
What was, now that the experience is complete and you have emerged victorious, can you think back to a couple of moments this weekend where you said, you know, maybe you're in trouble, you might be in trouble, lane play strategy, whatever it is, but you trusted yourself, you got yourself through those moments and ultimately end up a champion. Can you think back to some of those clear moments that suggested you had what it took to get the job done this weekend?
Well, my first match this weekend, I started off pretty hot. So that was a lot of confidence. I also had a 290 in there, which we're not going to talk about how that happened. But I had a couple moments here and there that really just boosted my confidence. And so I stayed calm and just trusted the process and did one good shot at a time.
The ability to get to this point, I was talking to, of course, your coach, Melissa McDaniel, and your mom, and talk about what some people don't see, obviously, is the amount of work, hard work that you do put in. Describe just kind of the schedule and how much work you do put in week to week to be the best possible player that you can be.
Well, this past year I have been struggling with injuries. So after junior gold this summer, I did take 2 months off. So I recently got back into my practice schedule. But we have group practices with Melissa on Mondays. I bowl league on Tuesdays, practice on Wednesdays. I'm about to start league back on Thursdays, and I have league Saturday mornings. So.
All right, I'll get you out of here with this one. You won the regional showdown. I would like to know, and it may be different right now for you, and you may not even know, but what are your goals at this point in your young life? At 17 years of age, you could go and do really whatever you want, but it's pretty clear, in my opinion, you are a generational talent. What are your goals for the future, and what would you like to do with your life? And it may just be outside of bowling as well.
Well, after graduating high school, I'm excited to bowl in college at Jacksonville State. I'm really looking forward to that and having the team environment. And after college, I hope to go pro, but I also really hope to have a job that I enjoy outside of bowling.
Caitlin Stoll, it's hard to put into words your performance today. Congratulations, and good luck in all things in 2025.
Thank you.
All right, that is Caitlin Stoll, ladies and gentlemen. She will take the headset off. She's got more media responsibilities as well. Donovan wants to chat. She'll have a few more photographs to check or to get as well. Maybe a video interview also. But, ladies and gentlemen, we talk a lot about the future. And, USBC, the tagline, a future for the sport. There couldn't be a clearer future in women's bowling than Caitlin Stoll and Avery Dumigan. Really, everybody on this show, Crystal Elliott and certainly Carson Lukosius. It's just one of those things where you kind of throw your paperwork in the air. That's how cool I thought the Showdown was overall. We got a chance to see varying levels of experience come together in a 16-player field as well. But, just simply put, Stoll outlasted Lukosius and unfortunately done in by just a flat, brutal 9-pin. Got to give some credit to Carson Lukosius. A 9-pin stops her short of perhaps gaining her 4th regional title of the season. At just 28 years of age, Lukosius, we will see her next. We're not sure, but certainly we'll see her in 2025. She is going to be a threat. Want to thank Robin Graves, Damon Sirocco. Shout out to Donovan Grubau, Devin as well, Damon Sirocco, Ben Glasscock. Want to thank Curtis Von Kruger. Folks, I hope you enjoyed your time with us this weekend. We certainly had fun bringing it to you. Caitlin Stoll, your 2024 PWBA Regional Showdown champion. I want to thank the Bowling Providers Association of America and the BPAA board. Big thanks to the United States Bowling Congress and the USBC board. I want to thank the Professional Bowlers Association, PBA Junior ongoing on Bowl TV. Make sure you check that out this weekend. And, of course, the Regional Players Invitational, both PBA and PBA 50 next weekend. Tom Hess and Craig Elliott will have the call for you there. I want to thank the wonderful athletes here at the Professional Women's Bowling Association. What a phenomenal weekend, and an even better stepladder. It certainly did not disappoint. I want to thank Sydney Brummett for joining us in the booth this evening. For the entire team, the crew and the staff, and the wonderful folks here at Aloma Bowl, we say so long for now. My name is Emil Williams Jr. We leave you with photos and shots, literally speaking, of the champion, the 2024 PWBA Regional Showdown winner, Caitlin Stoll. Congratulations again to Stoll, her family, her sisters, mom, and everybody in between. Jacksonville State, you got yourselves a good one. Until next time, we will see you again in 2025 from some PWBA event in the future. Be sure to check pwba.com for the full national and regional tour schedules. Until then, again, be safe, be well. This has been a presentation of the 2024 PWBA Regional Showdown. You watched it live and only on Bowl TV. And remember, bowling lives here. Good night, folks.